Welcome to Pink's and come on in.
You're gonna love our hot dogs.
And we're gonna show you all 40 of them. We came to Pink's to bring our friends that are from out of state, from Arizona. Our family, actually back in the day, used to come here before they even started their original building.
We love Pink's.
Hi, I am Richard Pink, co-owner of Pink's Hot Dogs, a Hollywood legend since 1939. And I'm here with my sister Beverly and my wife Gloria to welcome you to Pink's and give you the full Pink's story. Pink's started 81 years ago in 1939 when my mother and father, who were out of work, and it was the bottom of the Depression here in Los Angeles, they were looking for a job in the newspaper.
She says, you know something? I found a location on La Brea and Melrose, and we'll start a hot dog stand. She said, I looked in the paper, and there was a cart for sale for $50. I said, where the hell are you going to get $50? My mother will give me the $50.
Well, where's the cart? Well, the cart is down on La Cienega, which is about 2 miles from Pink's, and my mother went down there, paid the $50, and rolled that hot dog cart all the way up to the corner of La Brea and Melrose, where Pink's is today.
We've been coming to Pink's for a long time now, so I always get something different. And you can't never go wrong with anything that's on Pink's. So right now I got the Philly dog and just a regular cheese dog. I love Pink's, love it. I always come back and I recommend everybody to come to Pink's also. The Philly. Delicious.
Welcome to Pink's. I'm Gloria Pink, and this is our Celebrity Wall of Fame. We have over 250 autographed photos of celebrities with their endorsements, with their love of Pink's hot dogs. And there's a story behind every one of them. We can start with the singer Pink. She loves Pink's hot dogs. We served Pink's hot dogs to her for her birthday. She rented out a roller skating rink in Hollywood, and we served Pink's hot dogs to her. She's a vegetarian, so we served our veggie dogs to her. And of course, here's Ellen, and I love what she wrote. Hey Gloria, when I think of buns, I think of you. She's hilarious. We took hot dogs to her studio audience and served them. And then Bruce Willis proposed to Demi Moore here at Pink's, and it hit all the trade papers. We often have a big anniversary where we serve chili dogs for charity. This last year, Gustavo Dudamel from the LA Phil and Eric Garcetti, the mayor, came and got behind the grill, served up our great dogs. And here's JoJo Siwa. She had lines around the block for her autograph that night, and all the proceeds for the night went to her charity, which was a dance charity. And of course, we love Dolly Parton, all in pink. We met Dolly. She said not only is she a big fan, but her husband loves Pink's hot dogs. Snoop Dogg, we have met him in Vegas. Wayne Brady, we've taken hot dogs to them. If I could just eat Pink's all day long, damn. Taken hot dogs to all the late night shows. Jimmy Fallon, Jay Leno, Jimmy Kimmel. And one of our all-time favorites is Huell Hauser. He came by often and ordered a double chili cheese dog and wrote, how many double chili cheese dogs can you eat? And he loved the employees, they loved him. And here's James Corden's picture, and he wrote, Gloria and Bev, how can something so wrong feel so right? Loved Dave Koz. We took hot dogs to his radio show. Stevie Wonder loved our turkey dogs. We were lucky enough to take hot dogs to the set of Will and Grace, so we got to meet Eric McCormick. And he was great, wonderful, love Eric. We've got Lily Tomlin, she was lovely, we got to meet her. Of course, Betty White is one of our all-time favorites. When they wrapped the season of Entourage, they all came to Pink's for their wrap party. We've got Henry Winkler here, who served up dogs for one of our major anniversaries. Pink's traces its history back to Orson Welles and Howard Hughes and Spencer Tracy. Here's a picture of Orson Welles. He holds the all-time record for the most hot dogs eaten at one sitting, 18. I love what Miss Piggy wrote on her photograph. To Pink's, moi does not eat hot dogs, but if I did, I'm sure yours would be my favorite. She's next to Kermit the Frog. We have Katy Perry's picture on our wall. We were asked to serve an after party, and we didn't think we would see her necessarily. We knew we would be serving the crew. She came out, took pictures with us, was really gracious, and she had invited us to the show, so how lucky was that? And here's Serena Williams' picture. We have a great picture from the Barbie book that was written by Greg Lavoie. And he wrote Barbie Loves Pink's, and there's Barbie and Poochie at Pink's. When we opened in Las Vegas, Kim Kardashian came to the openings. We actually have Kris Jenner's picture as well. We were invited by Tyra Banks for her show, Next Top Model. And each model got an adjective, and they were supposed to act it out, whatever it was, cute, funny. And here's the winner. And they created a set to look just like Pink's. And of course, Oprah. We've served Oprah several times. And when we have served her, she did her happy dance because we served her our spicy Polish dog. And she loved that. We served Carl Reiner hot dogs on the Queen Latifah show for his 90th birthday. That was a lot of fun. Aretha Franklin loved her hot dogs, and sometimes we would ship them to her. And she contacted us about serving Pink's hot dogs at a Christmas party. And the hot dogs we sent ended up going to Flint instead of Detroit, so we put one of our employees on a plane at Christmas time, first class, to bring the dogs to her, and they arrived, and she was so grateful that when I came home, there was a voice message. Hello, Gloria, this is Ms. Franklin. I just want to personally thank you. And then later, when she was performing at Nokia, we brought hot dogs to her crew. After intermission, she came back with a Pink's visor and a tray full of dogs and started passing them out for the first couple of rows. And she never took the visor off, so she had a full-length gown and the Pink's visor for the whole show. So there it was on all the monitors. And Richard and I kept saying, she's not going to take it off. No, she's going to leave it on. It was great. Her manager came over to us later and said, how did you like the show? And we said, couldn't have been better. Blake Shelton is on our wall. And of course, I love what he wrote. Pink's, I love a big weenie, and he signed his name. He's hilarious.
People didn't even know I owned the joint. They figured Pink's was just a fictitious name. It's not a fictitious name, it's my name.
I have a lot of friends from like Japan and South Korea. They come here and this is like the go-to place I take them to. We love Pink's.
She rented the site for $15 a month. The thing is, there was no electricity on the site. It was actually an open field. They had to cut down the weeds. They had to put the cart there. And they said, well, how are we gonna plug it in? It was an electric cart. And so they went down the block, and there happened to be a Friendly Hardware store over there. And the guy says, I will sell you an extension cord, okay, and then let you plug it into my outlet here. Pink started up for the first 2 years with a 100-yard extension cord into a Friendly Hardware store that sold them the cord itself. So they went into business, and they were lucky to sell maybe 25, 50 hot dogs a day. So from 1939 to 1941, they were selling dogs and paying the rent. 41, the landlord comes along and says, I'm gonna raise your rent. I mean, things are starting to pick up here. Well, what are you gonna charge? He says, well, I'm gonna raise your rent to $25 a month. Well, you think, that's not much money. That was a 67% increase. He said, we can't afford that. We're only selling our dogs for 10 cents. Fortunately, there was a Bank of America branch across the street. My parents trotted over to the Bank of America branch manager and said, can you loan us the money? And he said, well, what collateral do you have? We don't have any collateral. We have hot dogs. I mean, we got dedication, we got passion, but we don't have any collateral. He says, you know what? I don't want you to move. I don't want you to lose your place. Where am I gonna eat lunch? And I love your hot dogs. So the branch manager said, well, what do you need? You need $4,000. That's what land was going for back in Los Angeles on La Brea. A terrific location, but he said, I'll make you the loan. Many years later, about 70 years later, Bank of America told that story nationwide on how they loaned my parents that money in order to show that Bank of America has a big heart. So in 1941, they buy the property, they put an awning over the cart, and they run that hot dog stand from 41 to 1946. 1946 rolls around, a cousin of ours comes along and says, let me build you guys a hot dog stand. I mean, a real building. So in 1946, the very stand that you see today was what it looked like back then. It is totally authentic, it is totally original, with the open front, the open kitchen. You walk up to Pink's, you smell the buns and the hot dogs and the chili wafting through the air, and you say, you know, I came for one hot dog. Oh my God, I'm gonna have 3. It smells so good.
This is my first time at Pink's. It is so great. I'm like a hot dog lover. Okay, here we go. Oh no. Okay. Trying to be proper as I can. Oh my God.
So I got the vegan dog. I'm gonna take one home to my fiance, but I had to get one of the vegan ones because I'm vegan and they have an option. I love it. Literally tastes so good. I thought I was eating bacon for a second. I'm not kidding. I'm like, this tastes like real meat, and it's so good. It's so great.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Well, it is a good hot dog. You can't deny that. It's a kosher style hot dog. It's strictly 100% beef. They're the finest in the country. I think they're tastier.
Hi, I'm Beverly Pink Wolf, co-owner of Pink's Hot Dog. One of my greatest moments, of course, are when I'm here and people come over and say, oh, are you part of Pink's? And I'll say yes, and they say, do you know that I have been here for over 40 years? They remember Pink's coming here for their birthdays, for anniversaries. We had one couple that we met here, and they said, we were here 5 years ago and we got engaged here, and we come back every year to celebrate our anniversary. I think they would be shocked that people are standing in line for a hot dog. He just was a lovable old man. I have friends from high school that still talk about him in junior high school and grammar school, that still talk about my dad in the good old days. I was here when we started Pink's, which was a wonderful time, and I would make dinner. My parents, they would come in shifts, so there was always somebody here. They had to support 2 children, and so my parents opened up a flower shop next door. She was the only one when the high school would have prom or graduation night. She would make these beautiful orchids, corsages with sparkles on them. And she was I think she was ahead of her time, the way she thought, her business mind.
My wife, I give her all the credit. In fact, a friend of mine, he says, I got just the girl that you can take to the prom. And I called her, said, well, I'd like to see what you look like. And I said, oh my God, she'll probably take a look at me with glasses and that. She'll figure, my God, I don't want no part of him. But anyway, she figured, listen, what can I lose? So she went to the prom with me, and we got real acquainted, and I know, little by little, it got thicker and thicker and thicker, and her mother kept talking me a China. My God, you see her every night, why don't you get married? I said, I don't have any money. All of a sudden, before I knew it, we got married, and we went to Catalina on our honeymoon.
Believe it or not, CNN was interviewing us, and they were saying, do celebrities really come here? And stage right, Steve Martin was in line. You know, he had his typical hat on, and he was ordering up a chili dog. But one of the highlights, and someone came up to me and said, I need to speak to an owner or manager. And I thought, well, maybe they didn't get enough chili or something. And they showed me their credentials, and it was a Secret Service. And they said, we have a very important guest arriving in about 25 minutes. And we said, who is it? I can't tell you, but if you live on this planet, you'll know who this is. But you can't tell anybody, because if there's chaos, we're just going to pass it by. Well, it was Michelle Obama, Sasha, Malia, and her mother. And they drove up in 3 or 4 black SUVs, sat up on the patio with customers. The customers were wanded as they came in. And they were told no cell phone, no photos. Nobody took a photo. When they got up to leave, everybody applauded. That was a true highlight. Doesn't get better than that. Quentin Tarantino's birthday was coming around, and he wanted us to serve Pink's hot dogs. It's like 85 degrees outside. We were serving hot dogs when he was doing The Hateful Eight. So Bruce Dern and Samuel L. Jackson were all wearing heavy, heavy winter clothing, eating our hot dogs at his birthday party. Gwen Stefani, we were serving hot dogs at a charity event, and she was there, and couldn't have been lovelier. When I met Nicole Kidman, I said, my name's Gloria Pink, and we have a hot dog stand called Pink's Hot Dogs. And she stopped me in mid-sentence and said, oh, I know, you're celebrating your 70th birthday, you're gonna sell hot dogs for 70 cents for 70 minutes, you're having a different celebrity every night. She knew the whole story. I was just blown away. Jay Leno came by to do a skit, and he was wearing kind of an afro wig and bell-bottom pants, and he was supposed to look like the late 60s or early 70s. And Steven Tyler and Joe Perry were behind the counter with Pink's garb on and serving. So they served Jay Leno a hot dog, and they say, Mr. Leno, we're gonna be famous one day. And he walks away and he says, dream on, dream on. And they invited us to their concert that night. Celebrity event at the LA Zoo, and Lance Bass was being honored that year. For our 80th anniversary, we had a different celebrity come each night for 8 nights, and George Lopez was one of them. And we gave the money to the Charity of the Celebrity's Choice, and he has a kidney research foundation. James Corden had a show called Take a Break, and he went around to different restaurants, and he would say, who wants to take a break? And of course, all the employees would raise their hand, and then he would do that. So here he was the grill man, he was the cleanup person, he was hilarious, and then he actually put on a hot dog costume and tried to get on the bus. And when the bus driver asked him for money, he said, I don't carry any money, I'm a hot dog. So we have pictures with Sean Hayes and also Neil Patrick Harris for the charity Alex's Lemonade, and they were fabulous. Celine Dion invited us backstage after her show in Vegas. We've taken hot dogs to American Idol, and we were able to meet Simon Cowell. He was great. Emeril Lagasse is one of the iconic chefs who's been to Pink. We created a Bam dog and took it up a notch with jalapenos and coleslaw. Giada De Laurentiis, we've named a hot dog after her. It's like an Italian hot dog. It's like pizza on a bun. Grilled vegetables and smothered with mozzarella cheese. Martha Stewart come to Pink's. She was driving down the street with her entourage and said, what is going on there? There's this huge line in front. And someone in her entourage says it's an 80-year-old hot dog stand. She said, I want to go there. She pulled in and then waited in line and created her dog. Chopped onions, relish, tomatoes, sauerkraut, sour cream, and bacon. Yum. Gordon Ramsay was filming Hell's Kitchen, and he wanted to take his sous chefs to different restaurants. So he said, I'm going to take you to one of the best restaurants in LA. So they thought they were going to Spago or Melissa. They start walking, and they said, where are we going? And he brought them to Pink's, and he said, if you want to have a successful restaurant, you have to know your niche. And Pink's has found it. They've got the perfect hot dog, then they've got great employees, they got an interesting decor, and he had all of his sous chefs behind the counter making up the 40 different dogs. So that was great. All of these celebrities have been to Pink's. You never know who's going to drop in.
So let me tell you the history of our Celebrity Wall of Fame. Famous directors from the studios that we're surrounded by, these directors would come in and people would say, oh my God, I want to get discovered. I mean, I came all the way to Hollywood from wherever, Indiana, and maybe they'll find me. Michael J. Fox used to come to Pink's. He treated Pink's as his office, but back in the day, it was just thumbtacks and wannabes trying to get discovered in Hollywood. That's what Hollywood is all about. It's all about a dream. And the story goes that he actually got the call on our public telephone for Family Ties. So a lot of people say, your hot dogs are so good, where are they made? Well, the same producer of our hot dogs, which is called Hoffy, makes our natural casing hot dogs exclusively for Pink's. And our Polish dogs are made by another company exclusively for Pink's. Same thing with the chili. So you can't find that taste except at a Pink's hot dog stand, whether it's here in LA or whether it's in Wisconsin or Connecticut. We're at a number of amusement parks. We're even in the Philippines, can you believe that? And they make it over there just to our specifications. So we have complete control over the quality of our product to make sure that wherever there is a Pink's, it's the same experience and the same taste that you have right here at La Brea and Melrose. The city is now designated the intersection as Pink Square because they say after 80 years, you started with a push cart and now you're a national icon. Pink started by Paul and Betty Pink. As they were getting older, they knew it was too hard for them to continue to run Pink's with the business that we had, and they had to turn it over to family. So they asked myself, they asked my wife, they asked my sister, come in, learn the business so that we can transition it so that Pink's will always be here. My dad grew up very poor, just like my mother. My dad was born in Minneapolis. The family was originally from Romania. My mother was born in Russia, came over on the ship back in the early teens in our country's history. The rags to riches story. They started from scratch and they worked from dawn to exhaustion. That's how I'd like to say it. But we're here every day too. We don't take this place for granted. We're always working at, always figuring out how we can improve. I don't care if you're in the tech business or you're in the hot dog business, you always got to be thinking of something innovative, something new, something inventive. From the time I was 8 years old, I was either working hot dogs or I was selling flowers. It was originally a neighborhood little hot dog stand, and it's now a destination from really around the country to around the world because they've seen it on the different food channels that are out there. And we're just so proud and so humbled by that. Today, we have over 20 employees. Most of them have been with us 20 years, 30 years. So what makes Pink so special? First thing is the hot dog that snaps when you bite into it. Everybody loves that snap. Fortunately, we've got a good location right here at Pink Square. Good traffic, parking. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Pink's.
Just saw the reviews and thought it would be a nice place to try. We didn't know it had such a historical standing.
We picked everything.
Oh, it is, yeah. We had like an assortment of everything, so we're just gonna try it out. And this is the Giada, and this is the Martha Stewart, and then some chili fries.
This is Martha Stewart.
It's really good.
What?
What do you think?
The reason why.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's so popular. I can tell now. It's really good. You guys have to try it.
Hi, my name is Yolanda Garcia, and I work for 34 years.
And my name is Luz Acosta, and I've been here for 26.
I remember when I working here for work with Paul pins and berry pin. I love and I live in my heart. And my favorite hot dog is the classic chili cheese dog. I remember when I tried my first hot dog.
Oh, I have a lot of good memories, and one of them was when I was at catering, and Dustin Hoffman just grabbed my hands and started dancing together. My favorite dog is the Guadalajara dog because it reminds me a lot of good memories from my country, which is Mexico.
We love working at Pins.
I'm glad that we as a family have continued and done so well, and we thank everyone from the world that has come to Pink's and Los Angeles, because they are the people that made us what we are today.
Pink's loves Food Fetish. Come visit us at Pink's
in Hollywood.